This isn't a tutorial or a success story. This is chapter 1. I'm at the very beginning, figuring it out as I go. No team, no sponsors, and no audience when I started. Just a camera, a bit of discipline, and a decision to start showing up. If you've ever felt stuck, but knew you were capable of more, this is the journey that I am on. I started from 0, and at the time of filming, I'm currently at 440 subscribers. It's still early, and I'm still building. I'm at a point in life where I want to start taking back control over my time, my energy, and my direction. I think like most guys in life, I felt like I'm always meant to be building something or creating new things, not just clocking in, taking a paycheck and living for the weekend. I think when a man falls into that trap, it's really the beginning of his downfall. And to be honest, it's not that I hate work, but it's the feeling of wanting to build something real, something that can grow and you can leave a legacy with. I think if you look back throughout history and look at all the successful men out there, look at the things they did and the things they left behind as well. No one remembers the man that didn't leave anything positive for his family, for his friends, and for the world. I think it's important to build and create a life of the type of person that you want to become. So disciplined, courageous, creative, successful, and always chasing and wanting more. I'm using YouTube as a tool and an anchor, a way to document the process and hopefully the progress that I make along this journey, and hopefully share what I'm learning along the way and impart some of that knowledge that I'm hopefully going to gain over this process. Everything that you're seeing filmed on my YouTube channel has mostly actually been filmed with the GoPro 12. My phone currently filming now is the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Super good camera, very, very good for filming out here, different light conditions and things like that. The GoPro, not quite as clear, and I think you get slightly distorted images. However, for things like the van build, it's proved to be really good. Just quick snaps, getting it filmed and processed quite quickly. In addition to the 2 cameras, I have 2 tripods, both cheap tripods from Amazon. One of these flexible tripods that you can kind of hook onto trees or inside the van, for example, or hold it at a distance if you're doing selfie style filming. This one was probably about 15 or 20 quid, pretty cheap. And the one that the phone is currently on, again, £25, I think. It's a slightly longer, taller one, just better for filming further away. And then lastly, in terms of audio, now I only really use this for videos like this or some of my TikToks that I've done and Instagram Reels, and it's the Rode Wireless Me microphones. So there's one plugged into the phone, which is the receiver, and then there's this one, which is the transmitter. I think the audio quality is pretty good for however much it was, £100, something like that, for the 2. Now I trekked out here in the rain to film this with my JJ's Light Fighter day sack. This is the one I used with the army. Lovely bit of kit, not cheap, £250 or something. However, didn't use my civvy day sack as the purposes of today really was to kind of get the tripod and stuff in. Really nice side pocket for that, usually used for like rocket launchers and things, but yeah, today it was carrying a tripod. Inside the day sack, bit of water, waterproof jacket, however, not wearing it. And a brand new bit of kit that I bought this week. Wanted one for a while, however, still not 100% sure if I'm going to make the investment for a Mini Pro, whatever it is, Mini 4, or the Mavic 4 drone. However, I bought the DJI Neo drone, absolutely tiny. You can see versus my hand and my head. Really cool bit of kit, to be fair, super light. Came with a remote control and 3 batteries in a charging bank. So some of the shots at the beginning are the first shots I've filmed with this, and I think they looked pretty good. I love that this can track you as you're moving through terrain. I think as a solo creator, it's quite difficult to, get good shots of you doing stuff other than sticking a phone or a tripod up somewhere or having a cameraman with you. And this kind of acts as your cameraman. And really, I want to be able to take you along with me and almost for it to be like you're walking along next to me as I'm doing stuff. So overall, I don't think you actually need to spend too much money on kit to film with. To sum up, I'm keeping my kit lean and mobile, and ultimately it's to fit around my lifestyle. I don't want big heavy cameras. I want to be agile and quick to capture content. I'm learning a lot throughout the process of building out this YouTube, particularly around the content side of things, so filming, editing, creating thumbnails, using things like Canva for that. I think one of the hardest things to actually do is to learn to speak to the camera. Now at first it's quite difficult. You do stumble on your words, and I still stumble on my words. It doesn't quite feel natural speaking to a lens. I think one of the key things that I picked up from many other people on YouTube that talk about this is to imagine the camera like a person. So you're speaking to somebody, and that somebody is you at the other end of the camera. So it's about creating that connection and delivering the message that you want to deliver to that person in a concise way. I also think it's quite funny when you speak to a camera, you actually have to be a bit overly, animated and speak louder and make bigger gestures and bigger kind of facial expressions. And as a guy, that is a little bit weird. A lot of guys aren't as animated as that. And that is a skill that I'm having to learn and do as I progress this journey on YouTube. But I am finding it is benefiting me in other areas. My job, for example, I work in sales, I work remotely, and most of my customer calls are done over Zoom and Microsoft Teams and Google Meets. So learning to be animated and to get your point across to a camera is benefiting me quite a lot. My key takeaway message from what I've learned is just to do it and to not care what other people think. You can want to start YouTube, or you can want to start a new business, or you can want to go get fitter. But until you actually do it, nothing is going to change. So be consistent and just show up and start doing it. And I guarantee everything will just fall into place one after the other. Something that I occasionally do struggle with is actually just creating the video. I want everything to be perfect, bit of a perfectionist. And I think that can be a bit of a blocker when it comes to YouTube. I think when you want everything to be right, whether it's like the scene or, the audio or how you look, and you don't go and film because of that, or you just, sack it off, ultimately you're just not creating that content. And so you're not getting yourself out there. So it can be a bit of a blocker on actually filming the content. And the other thing is I have loads and loads and loads of video ideas, probably about 30 or 40 different videos that I want to produce. However, trying to pin one down that I know I can make a really good job of it is quite difficult. And it's really going to require me to sit down, plan it out properly, and just do it. I think it's quite easy to compare yourself to people that have been doing this for years and have, built a following of 100,000 people. And you do have to kind of take a step back and think, right, this is just the beginning. This is chapter 1. And where will I be in a year or 2 years' time of doing this? Hopefully, it will be there. If you put the work in, I think you can get there. Starting out can feel chaotic. There is a lot to do. You think about naming your channel, creating your profile image, deciding what sort of content you want to do. But I think none of that actually matters because you don't have an audience. When you start out, no one knows who you are. And this is something we see in sales as well. If no one knows how good your product is, then you're not going to make any sales. So it's about how do you get your name out there? How do you get your product out there? In the case of YouTube, it's how do you get your video out? And the only way to do that is literally just to start. So stop worrying about names, stop worrying about what your channel is going to be or what it's going to look like, and just start filming content. I think once you get over that hurdle, there's a mind shift and you begin to kind of realize that actually it's not that difficult. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other and you will make progress. You will make bad videos at first. My videos are still not that good, I think, but that is the entry fee for going into content creation and into YouTube. The price you are paying is the cost of a bad video. What you're gaining from that is the experience of what you've learned over filming and editing that video. The only way to get better is just to post, review, and repeat. And ultimately that will get you closer to your voice, to your audience, and to your mission. This channel is about documenting the journey, the building process, and creating a legacy. If you're on a similar journey, make sure you hit subscribe. I'll be here posting, learning, documenting the process, one video at a time. Ultimately, pursuing excellence.